Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boomer Bust channel, a Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host, Terry. And today we're talking about Mitch Trubisky winning the starting job. So it's been a while. We haven't talked pure football in a while, but that's the day and age we live in. There's a lot of uncertainty, not a lot of news. News is here and there, but it's nothing of substance that I felt like needed to be covered. And so this is something that's big, though. We got to talk about it. And always remember, the fan line link is down there. If you want to put in your own comments, all that, I'll listen to the messages, and then I might put it on the show. So anyway, we got to talk about this. Mitch Trubisky, there's reports that he won the starting job. It was Nagy not too long ago saying that he hasn't made a decision or he's not announcing it, blah, blah, blah. More than likely what happened is they made an official announcement to the team that got leaked. But either way, there are sources saying that Mitch Trubisky won the starting job. So with all that being said, I would be remiss if I didn't start here. I don't feel much enthusiasm in general because of where we are in the world, in our society or country, in the world. And as much as people went back and forth about this for months, we're still here, and it doesn't look like things are changing. I wouldn't even say as somebody on the front lines. I work in education, so yes, but everybody's on the front lines. We see it affect people in different ways. And so the pandemic we've seen, it is not feasible for a lot of things to happen. As much as people want it to happen, it's not feasible. Even with the bubble, which I still have my doubts about how honest they're being, but even with the bubble, people point to that. That's very different. You can't replicate that with football. And as much as people were just like, oh, it's going to happen and we can do this, we do that. We saw what college football is doing. We saw what a lot of people are doing. It's not feasible and it doesn't make any sense. I said that months ago and it's still the same. So that tampers a lot of my enthusiasm about the content because I really don't see us going that far into the season, to be honest with you. So that's where I'm at with it. I definitely have to say that up top. But let's take the COVID lens off for a little bit and go into the actual news. So, and we can't really remove COVID from this because I think that plays a part. When I hear about Trubisky winning the starting job, part of me goes to that. It's like, all right, this is an unusual offseason. No matter how much you would like to do in socially or physically distant ways and safe ways, no matter how much information you can exchange between, Zoom calls and all that with a new quarterback, is not the same as getting on the field reps. And so while obviously they're doing things to continue football, it's not the exact same. And forgive me, there's probably been news reports and all that throughout, but we know there's not the same access to practice. There's not the same coverage of practice like it usually is. So I really don't know what's been going on between those two. But as a football coach, naturally, I'm like, well, I don't have the same time to prep this person. And again, people will talk about Foles and his experience with Nagy and all that. It's still not the exact same. And so while he might be up to speed on certain things, he still has to learn other things. And so I still just don't think it's enough time to really acclimate to Foles and do all that. As much as, as easy as it would be for Nagy to just go with Trubisky where he knows kind of his patterns. So that's part of it, I think. And then outside of that, we go back to the compensation. We understand it wasn't crazy, and we understand they redid Nick Foles' contract, but still you brought him in, and you brought him in for a reason. And I truly think it is so hard for me to remove it from this specific year, but I truly think in a regular year, this doesn't go down this way. Even if you give him a fair shot, it's not that I think Nick Foles is light years ahead. I've said this before. I just think that you don't make a move like this to have Foles sit on the bench. Now, obviously, with the way the season is right now, people are going to have to take, some things they weren't going to take before, and they're going to have to roll with some punches. So I think and people say Foles is a cool guy and is okay with a backup role, but I just don't believe in a regular year that's the case. But given the circumstances of today, I think it made it a little easier to put Nick Foles there, because you just put yourself in an awkward situation. But even with this being said, with Trubisky being the starter, it still sets up this stage for him to exit. I think either way, because if he doesn't play up to par, obviously there's going to be everybody calling for Nick Foles, similar to getting a first round pick or whatever, a rookie quarterback. Because at this point, they don't even got to be first round picks. People just want to see rookie quarterbacks for whatever reason. But similar to that, if Trubisky, does anything, they'll be calling for Nick Foles. And if Trubisky was to be good, better than expected, I still think long term they'd probably use that as a trading chip. I don't know. That's kind of how I feel. I really don't see the long-term future for Trubisky here. And I spoke about that many times before. Obviously, nothing has changed in this time, but that's how I feel about it. Obviously, people are going to pull this apart, and none of us are in the building, so we don't exactly know. But people are going to pull this apart. They're going to be like, well, is Foles really that bad? Obviously, people are going to go with the lens of this being a different year and them not having enough time to really have a true competition. There's some people who are going to be like, well, Trubisky's playing better, so it's obvious. All these different things. You know how the offseason goes. People say all the things with confidence in the offseason, and then as the season gets into it, they act like they never said it. So I think people are going to look at this from a number of different ways. But for me, I really think the time factor is the biggest thing. And that doesn't just go for the quarterback. That goes for everybody. Like, obviously, they're going to put in tweaks and new things, but don't be fooled. First of all, Nagy is who he is. Second, no coach is about to throw a whole new thing out here this season. The time is different, and you got to adjust with it. And it's kind of going to be going back to the things you know. So I just believe that at the end of the day, it was easier. And again, I don't know what the quote unquote competition looked like in this type of off season. I mean, they didn't even get to camp not too long ago, but I really can't see this being like a pure talent decision. I think this is more so to do with the circumstance of the day. And some people disagree with that. That's fine. We'll hear more, but at this point, the coach, Ryan Pace, blah, 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 they're all going to say the things we expect them to say. I don't think Trubisky is a different quarterback. I don't think Foles is less than what was expected. I just think you got to go with the situation. And apparently football is happening quick. Like, honestly, I don't follow a lot of the timeline stuff, because I just don't think it's going to really truly happen. But I've been seeing 10 days is what I've been seeing. So apparently, well, yeah, we're in September. So that sounds about right. So apparently football is happening pretty soon. And with that being the case, it's, you got to be prepared. And I don't know that throwing Nick Foles out there would have been the right decision anyway. So that's where I'm looking at it. Go to the comment section. Let me know what you think about Trubisky winning the starting job. What do you think about our chances this season? Do you feel like everybody in the league is prepared, or do you feel like it's going to be a real like crap show this year? Whatever your thoughts, go to the comment section. Let me know. Share it around. Get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, stay up and bear down.